You're listening to Podcast BXN,
a video game podcast
delivering player experience news.
Let's go!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Podcast BXN, episode 147. I am one of your hosts, Daniel Prindle, aka Dan is DTM. I'm joined over Discord by the Nintendo aficionado, Shannon Warner, at Roro on Twitter.
Hello.
The host of Large Popcorn and video essayist, Christian Macias. How are you?
Oh, yeah.
And the ultimate Spartan, the number one Halo player, Gage Dempster. How are you doing?
I guess I'm Gage today? I'm confused.
Yeah, but you have to answer in the affirmative to what I just said.
I can affirm that I am not what Gage just said. And I'm Gage. Wait, I'm so confused.
All right. Just off to some regular shenanigans. Episode 147 today. The Lord of the Leaks, Return of the King. We will be discussing, revisiting, I should say, the video leaks because there's been some interesting developments there.
Yeah, beautiful title, by the way.
I thought so. I was really proud of it, and I was worried that Dan was going to come back with some. It's not going to fit, but he didn't. And I'm proud. I'm glad.
It may be our best title yet. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I was really proud of it. I was really proud of it. I'm glad you tweeted. That was made my heart happy.
I've only censored one of your titles before, and it was for very good reason.
You know what's funny? You've only censored one of mine, but all of mine have gotten notes because I definitely pushed the envelope on every single one of them. Okay, we're gonna start with some quick bites. And numero uno, Microsoft will be attending Gamescom this year, and it will provide further updates on previously announced games. They noted again that it's going to be, it is still going to be that same section of games that's coming out within the next 12 months, which I kind of find a bit annoying because I want State of Decay 3, and if State of Decay 3 is not coming out in the next 12 months, I'm not going to get more updates on it. So, is anyone? I'm guessing we might see some more gameplay for things like Redfall, but I'm not too sure what more they have to say about these games. But is there anything that you guys are like super excited for to see?
I feel, Christian, I mean, maybe you could tell me, Silksong hasn't gotten a release date yet, has it?
No, it has not, sadly.
Maybe it'll get a release date.
Yeah,
That would be nice, yeah, considering that it was at the Xbox showcase earlier. So, I mean, if they do have like some kind of partnership there and it's not with Nintendo, then yeah, I would love to see it there. Otherwise, like, yeah, I think you're right. It probably would be Redfall. Maybe some stuff on Forza, but I doubt we'd even get close looks at Starfield. Like that, we already got a substantial look. I'm pretty sure they're just kind of finishing up that game. I don't know if there's more they want to show off just yet.
See, this is what's interesting. I promise the next ones are going to be quick bites. But the only reason I want to discuss this is that their E3 presentation, they showed a lot of their first-party games, but they also showed a lot of indies. So I don't know what they're going to show. Like that's why I'm curious and throwing it out to you guys. Like, what are they going to show? Right, aside from a couple of highly anticipated indie games that didn't get release dates, like, is there a conference? Is there like an hour's worth of things they're going to talk about? Like, what do you guys think's going on here?
Ot'll be Paris Lilly on stage saying he does not like In-N-Out.
Yes, God can't cook.
I think we will see some other small stuff, like indie stuff, like you're saying, Gage. Like even like the bigger indie stuff, like High on Life, for instance. I think we'll see more of that since that game's coming relatively soon. I would imagine we'll see many of the games that are coming this fall that are multi-platform as well, because obviously they won't show only exclusive stuff, or they don't always do that. So yeah,
Gamescom is in August, right? End of August, middle of August, something like that.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll also see some Halo stuff, whether it be campaign DLC or a teaser for Season 3 or an update or something like that. But anyways, Xbox, go ahead.
I'm convinced at this point that we're not getting campaign DLC for a while, based on some things that are...
Yes, I agree. But Xbox will be there, so if you are looking forward to more details on some of the stuff that they showed off at E3, look forward to that. Speaking of E3, or not E3, but the Summer Games Fest. But speaking of E3, E3 is back, kind of. So it's apparently, for real this time, going to be back next year. And it's got a new partner, ReedPop, which is the folks behind PAX. PAX is pretty successful, so this is kind of exciting. Like I said, I'm rooting for E3. I want everybody back in one weekend. I'm sick of this scattered nonsense. So for me, I'm hyped, but Kirby's coming back allegedly. We'll see if it happens.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fingers
Yeah,
crossed.
it's kind of exciting with that partnership, or not partnership, but yeah, behind the same folks as PAX. Like this could be good.
I agree. Kirby's Dream Buffet announced for Switch for summer 2022. I will let the Nintendo aficionado take the reins on this if you have anything more to add.
Yeah, it seems like a cool little mini party game for Kirby. So it's not like the normal platforming sort of stuff. Looks like it's going to be a smaller title, which Kirby has a couple of spin-offs. So I'm always down for some Kirby spin-offs. And yeah, it looks cute. It's like I only watched the trailer a couple minutes ago, honestly, before we started the show, because I didn't see it earlier. But it looks like you're like a little ball. I mean, you always are a little ball, but you're rolling on these courses and you're trying to grab all the food, I think, on the courses, it seems like. And by the end of it, you're weighed based on how much food you ate, and whoever ate the most food is the winner. It looks like, at least that's one of the modes. It looks like there's a couple of stuff in there. But yeah, it looks like a fun little Kirby party game. So I'm down for that.
If only there was something like that in real life, I would win all the prizes. Inscription is coming to PS4, PS5 roguelite horror card game. So if you are looking forward to that soon,
Yes, everyone play Inscription. Great game.
I'll take your word for it. Dark Pictures: The Devil in Me has been announced for this fall, alongside an announcement that Supermassive has been acquired by Nordisk Games. They recently picked up Avalanche, I think, from Square. And yeah, it's exciting that Supermassive has a home, because I really do like the things that they do. Not every one of their games clicks with me, but I love that somebody is doing these sort of Telltale style of games, but with just more photorealistic-esque graphics. I'm super excited to jump into the Quarry. There's no way I'm paying $80 Canadian for that, so I'm gonna wait till it's on sale.
I agree.
But I'm excited to give it, like, they're fun romps. Like I'm excited that they found a home. I'm looking forward to get into the Dark Pictures. I'm gonna wait until there's a couple of them on sale, and then I'll probably just fall off and play them. But
in this
one,
Dan, please.
I was just gonna say, and this one is actually cheaper. So I think it's only $40 or maybe $30 for this game. So it's a lot cheaper than the Quarry was. So yeah, and it looks very similar gameplay style. So very interesting.
I think this is the fourth Dark Pictures game to come out. So I'm hoping that soon they'll do a compilation. Like maybe you can pick up all four for like $50. In which case that sort of balance of price would speak to me more. So I'm gonna wait until there's something like that, because right now, yeah, they're all about, like, I think the first one is still going for like $20. So 20, 30, and then 40 and 40 is too much for me. So I'll wait until they all get bundled or they're all on sale. But yeah, I'm a fan of Supermassive. I'm a casual fan of Supermassive. I'm glad that they've got funding and they've got a home.
Yeah, I wanted to add too, real quick, that I think for me this acquisition is exciting, just solely for the fact that the team doesn't have like an extra anxiety to worry about, like, you know, with every game, that they have like resources to back them up to make even better games. Because Gage, you're right, like those games are already visually like really interesting, or not interesting, like visually impressive for like the kind of scale and scope that those kinds of games are. So if, you know, with a backer like this being acquired, it only mean we're gonna get way more cool stuff coming from Supermassive.
I wouldn't trade the first season of Telltale's The Walking Dead for anything, but I can just imagine that if the graphics were something like this, they would have tugged at my heartstrings a lot more. Like some of those scenes would have been absolutely much if it had that sort of that style of animation. But yeah, no, it's good they don't have to worry about that stuff, and they won't maybe compromise their artistic vision for like, oh, let's do what's popular because we make money. In other news, though, got RoboCop FPS was showed off, and we got gameplay for it. And it looks pretty cool. And we've got Alex Murphy is the lead protagonist, and accept the likeness of Peter Weller, which is pretty cool.
The lead what? Oh, he's the lead what?
I don't know what I'm walking into.
Lead protagonist? He plays him?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. No. Okay.
No, you don't. You do. I don't know. I don't know RoboCop, okay? I don't know. Christian's sitting there.
No,
he's sitting there with a smile on his face and getting worried.
Throw back to last week. RoboCop.
This is coming out on the Switch too. Like I didn't know this. Wow, impressive. Yeah, I'm impressed.
Something that I completely missed until looking over the doc. MetaQuest will no longer require Facebook login starting next month. Super unfortunate. I would have waited because I just got my Quest like 8 months ago. I totally could have waited for this. So that's exciting for anybody else looking to get into this. If you were worried about that, then you don't have to worry about that. What's up, Christian?
I don't know if 8 months ago qualifies as I just got it. I think you passed.
I
Yeah,
think you're right. This is definitely a Larry David argument, but I think you're right.
exactly.
I think you're right. Yes, I will concede. I will concede. Moving on to more nonsense. Midnight Society has unveiled their first look at their new game, Project Moon. This is DJ Doctor Disrespect, whatever his name is. This is his game that everyone forgot about. It's so there's one thing from this I like. They're calling it an extraction shooter. This is really great. We can now coin this term and stop calling everything that comes out inspired by Tarkov. I'm sure Battlestate Games loves that. I'm sure that they absolutely love that everybody calls a new game that's like Tarkov. It's like Tarkov, but we need like an official term. So I like extraction shooter. Perfect. I like it. But it's a vertical extraction shooter with the most generic Fortnite style characters I've ever seen in my life. One of us maybe has gotten a part of this. I don't know if it's under NDA, so I'm not going to say for sure. Maybe
not.
If someone has it.
It's
okay,
not.
so then, Dan, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah. I mean, the further I go down the rabbit hole with this, the more I'm a little bit concerned about this. But yeah, I'm already invested in it. So essentially, they have your 10,000 founders with the founders pass, and they all got these NFT-ish characters generated for them. And all these people have been posting on social media, and I literally, all I did was post something. This is what I've gotten thus far for my Midnight Society founder pass. And it's my character's picture. And I tagged the studio and Robert Bowling, who I really like Robert Bowling. He's one of the co-founders with Dr. Disrespect, who I don't like. So if anyone's watching who is a big Dr. Disrespect fan, sorry, don't like him. But all I did was tweet that. Has 77 likes. And I got freaking... I'm not kidding you. I got 40 followers from that. I'm like, this is not the type of follower I'm looking for. So again, I apologize if you're watching this right now and you followed, the retweets here, but what is happening?
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Did you get a rare visor? I saw. Sorry, Christian.
No, please.
I was going to ask Daniel if you got a rare visor. I saw that going around, and I was like, oh, I got the one with the diamond on it, man. Like, what does that mean?
I'll be honest with you. Like, I saw the same things you're talking about, where people posted like the rarities of all the pieces of their picture. I didn't do that because I literally don't care. Like,
Can I drop a bomb on you guys? None of it's rare because none of it's real. Okay, it's all nonsense.
all these people were changing their profile pictures on Twitter to this too. So
why haven't you done that yet?
In my notifications, it's literally all the NFT pictures. I'm just like, oh god, no, please no.
God bless them. They're happy about it, and they think that they've stumbled onto some. So you know what? God bless them. God bless them. I'm sure the game will be okay at best.
We'll see. We'll see. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt because we don't.
Okay, gameplay. Yeah, gameplay might be rock solid, but like these character designs, they all look like that one guy from Fortnite with the mask that changes shapes. Like it's ridiculous. It's crazy.
I
can't believe he was typing this up for months, and this is what the characters look like.
What are you gonna say, Christian?
Yeah, get to the punchline.
You know what else is rock solid?
Yep.
Oh, there is. That's
Respawn Entertainment is rock solid.
Nice.
That's true. That's fair. That's fair. Also, Christian. Respawn is working on a new FPS in the Apex Legends universe, which is separate from the Titanfall universe. Because if you remember when Apex Legends was announced, it's a new battle royale in the Titanfall universe.
Mm-mm.
I can't believe the disrespect. That this is ridiculous. I'm sorry. Anyways, and it appears to be single player. So there's a new Respawn's working on a new first-person Apex Legends universe that makes me want to spit.
I mean, we all love Titanfall here, but Apex is like huge. So I
hate-
get
hate-
why they did that, but
You're not wrong, but I
Yeah.
hate that you just said that sentence. I hate it. I really hate that a lot.
Yeah.
Kojima Productions puts out a strong statement. Sorry, Kojima Productions puts out a strong statement against the lies of Kojima being, being the Japan PM assassin. So this is a man was assassinated, and that's very serious.
however,
Do we really think Kojima went and did this? Like, I feel like this is a bunch of trolls saying this, and it's kind of like
I mean, we don't.
You missed
But-
the article. Like there was an actual article that came
Yeah.
out that accidentally used a picture of Kojima instead of a picture of the assassin.
It was like a UK outlet, right?
I did not
think?
see that. That's
Yeah.
Or was it Rush? Yeah. Okay. It was one of the two. Yeah. But
So,
yeah,
I mean,
I
but even I mean, yeah, this is a ridiculous headline to read. I'm sorry. It's serious. This is a serious statement. But no, Kojima did not assassinate anyone.
yeah.
Again,
This is like a gamers versus the general public sort of situation where like obviously we see Kojima on that article and like wait, there's something up
right,
here, but like
right.
vast majority of the public population will look at that that article and say, wow, handsome guy, but he did murder someone. That's terrible. But it's not. That's not Kojima.
Like,
He
I
didn't
feel like
kill
that's a
anyone.
double-edged sword though, because A is a lot of Westerners keeping up with Japanese news, and B, the people in Japan probably know of Hideo Kojima, right? Like, I understand why you'd want to correct this. I totally get that.
Definitely.
But I feel like no, yeah, they're not in the wrong for correcting this at all. I just feel like this is a ridiculous thing to have to read out. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. No, Kojima did not murder anyone.
I feel like the people of Japan know as much of Hideo Kojima as much as Canadians know the name Denis Villeneuve. You know what I mean? Like people who know.
fair. That's fair. That's fair.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, that hurts my soul.
Well, that's exactly my point, bro.
Exactly the point.
Yeah, no, but that's fair. That's totally fair. Kojima did not assassinate the Japanese prime minister.
Anyways,
Fall Guys. Fall Guys has reached 50 million players in 2 weeks since going free to play. Not shocked at all. That was a great move for them. And the game is getting a little bit of a resurgence, which is great. It's a fun game. I got no qualms with that game at all.
is anybody going to download the Pusheen?
That's
the Pusheen
I am now.
that's a sex
What?
act or that's a slur. What did you just say?
Pusheen,
Little cat.
the kitties, Pusheen kitties.
Pusheen.
I don't know. Those are
Pusheen costumes. There's also another
costume.
costume they just added as well. God knows I don't remember it. As soon as I saw Pusheen, I was like, yes, I remember. I know this.
Oh, it's the one. It's the one where it's the guy from Fortnite. It's like the Master Chief skin, right?
Hmm?
Oh no, I don't know. Pusheen is the only costume I know that was added. That I remember that was added.
Oh, I know what you're. I think I know what you're.
I was just trying to bait Dan.
Not working.
It made it in.
All it, like these character designs, they all look like that one guy from Fortnite with the mask that changes shapes. Like it's. Is everybody hearing me
What
as
was
well?
that? Yeah, what? I heard that as well. Was that Christian?
Did I do
Christian,
something?
are you playing?
Somebody open up the YouTube to check comments. I'm guessing.
Okay, so for posterity, I got a new microphone. All right. And I am trying to on the fly while podcasting, making sure that all the audios are going to the right channels. Apparently, when I open up YouTube, somehow you guys can hear it too.
Wait, what do you have your microphone input set to, Christian? For Discord.
For Discord,
Oh, so we could do this at later, but
voice chat. Okay, please help me after. I'm not going to touch my computer then.
I don't know. I completely missed it somehow. I must have really bad ear.
No, I heard that. I definitely.
It was
I
Gage.
thought it was me for a second.
Yeah, Gage repeating himself.
Nothing new. It's fine. GoldenEye 007, long rumored remaster, is allegedly on pause because of the Ukraine war. So, this is coming from Jeff Grubb. I understand from a corporate standpoint as to why they're doing this. I feel like it's. I don't know. This is strange to me because Russia. I mean, you're playing a video game that came out decades ago, where Russia is the bad guy. I don't know. I don't see the correlation between wanting to delay this, although it could just be not thinking it through. What do you guys feel?
Maybe I mistook this. I didn't even think about that aspect of it. I was thinking that it was delayed because the developers were in Ukraine.
Yes,
Okay.
Is that what it is?
that was my understanding too.
Okay.
Okay, I could have sworn that. Okay, I'll have to look into that. I'll have to look into that more because I was reading articles about it and it didn't seem like that was the case. But if that is the case, that makes sense. Yes, that obviously makes sense to me. But for whatever reason, I was under the impression that it wasn't that. But anyways, so if you're waiting out for that remaster like I am and like a lot of people are, it's on pause for right now. But I'm sure that it is imminent because a lot of leakers have been saying that this is coming, and obviously we've seen achievements pop up and all that stuff. So that is on the way, but just not quite yet. And then in news that is sure to excite rock solid Christian and the Nintendo aficionado, Bayonetta 3 has a release date, and it is coming October 28th. Guys, how do you feel about that? Give me your uncensored thoughts.
I think Christian should take this away. I love Bayonetta. I am a fan of Bayonetta, the character, the witch. I've played half of the first one. I still have to beat the first one. So I am a fan of the games, of the characters, of Bayonetta. But I still need to finish it because I just haven't had the time to beat it. But
All
yeah.
this time that you and
You
I
thought I beat it?
Bayonetta on the podcast here, and here I learned you're halfway through the first one. All right.
Well, joke's on you. Rashan has beat it, but just not the game.
Oh, that
You
is
get
a
it. You
great
get it.
joke. Yeah, that is. Yeah. My take is that very cool that Nintendo is letting these games be horny. And also
And
cool,
for
I guess.
mature, yeah.
I also very cool that they added a family-friendly mode, which I don't know how you make that game family-friendly, but like
They tried.
yeah, you can have more clothing on, maybe it like censors a few other things, but
Yeah.
come
It'll
on.
be interesting if it actually changes the shape of the character model, right? Because she is inherently like sexual, so it'd be interesting to see what that family filter does.
Like those camera angles in these games are insane.
Right? Like that's what I'm thinking.
Dude. One time, well, I won't say it. Never mind.
Oh, I want to know how that ends.
I'm very excited, and I still believe that you're playing as Cereza and not Bayonetta, but time will tell. And I think again, they doubted me when I said Halloween time. Right here we are, right before Halloween.
What's the difference between Bayonetta and Cereza? Like what?
They're different
What does
characters.
that mean? Oh,
They're well.
Aren't they? I'm in the halfway through the first one.
I can't
So
answer
don't
that,
know.
bro. I can't
Okay.
answer that. It would spoil.
Okay.
The Bayonetta lore is too complex.
They're clones of each other.
It's-
They're
no.
sisters. Well,
They were sisters separated at the womb.
You want to know? I can. But I won't tell you. No, go play it. Go play it.
okay.
PlayStation's Haven acquisition is complete, and we got an update that Mark Cerny is apparently assisting Jade Raymond with the studio, which is interesting. Jade Raymond is a longtime producer at Ubisoft who went to Stadia and then went to found her own studio when Stadia fell through. So interesting to see that Mark Cerny is involved. I know that Jade Raymond has given interviews talking about how the game will sort of adapt remix culture like TikTok and stuff like that. I don't know what that means for a video game, and to me that sounds like a horrible idea, but I'm wondering if it's going to have some sort of tech aspect, kind of like Xbox with their sort of cloud stuff, because Mark Cerny is definitely a tech guy. So to have him there helping them out is interesting. Don't know what that means, but not a lot to go on here. But Haven is officially a PlayStation.
Congrats.
Congrats. And the last quick bite for the day is that The Last of Us Part 1 has gone gold. And you know what? To all you haters out there, frick you. I'm excited. I'm going to buy this day one. I'm not going to buy it day one. I'm going to wait till it comes to PC. But I'm excited. Go ahead, Christian.
First of all, I am also not a hater. I'm excited. The $70 discourse, I'll allow it. That's warranted. That's a more nuanced conversation. I'm not going to have that right now. I will say, first of all, very cool that the studio was able to do this without crunching at all. Yeah, which is fantastic, especially for a game of this scale. Naughty Dog's first PS5 game without crunch. Impressive, and I hope it kind of sets a precedent. If it means we get less Naughty Dog games over time, that's okay, because I think developer lives are more important than the games that we play. But two, insane that the game is gold like 2 months before release. Usually games go gold like maybe a month or 3 weeks beforehand. This is pretty dang early. So it makes the wait for it that much like longer for me personally. Like I want to play it now.
For sure. Yeah, when you find out that a game has gone gold, like you say, months ahead of its release date, definitely makes sense. I wonder if this means that there's gonna, if either some people from Naughty Dog are going to, obviously they're gonna polish the absolute shit out of this, but I wonder if that means maybe some of them are gonna assist Nixes with the inevitable PC port, because as Neil said, that's coming soon. So that would not be surprising to me at all, because we have no idea. This might be when they start shortening that gap, right? This might be December. Who knows when it comes to PC?
You are totally onto something. That is incredible.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt if that's what they planned. I want to stoke the fires here a little bit, as I do. The $70 Discourse, not warranted. That should have been warranted for the remaster. Am I the only one who's thinking about this? And I go, well, the game came out on PS3, and then you got a full price remaster, which was an upscale. They've redone everything in this game. It's a new engine. It's new animations.
I agree. However,
this is more warranted of the $70 price tag than the remaster was.
Dan, you first.
Sorry.
Dan, go ahead.
I agree. However, when someone's already paid $140 or $120 for this game, I do think they should appreciate the fans that have already purchased this in the past. Like that's what we've talked about before. Like, give something. Like, it doesn't have to be something big. Just give something to the fans that have supported that game and that franchise for so long. Like, that's my opinion.
So I do remember you. I want to jump in real quick. Just to correct myself. I do remember us having that conversation. To me, that's a separate argument. I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that, and I feel like I did when we talked about that. If they were to look at your purchase history and give a discount, that's fine. But for people saying that this game is not worth $70, my main argument is that it is, absolutely. Like, the game by itself is worth $70. If you're somebody who's already bought the other two, different story. Absolutely, Sony should be giving you a discount. We know they're not going to. Sony fucking hates you. But anyways, Christian, go ahead.
My thing is that it's one thing to say that it is a from the ground up remake and then open it up for pre-orders. It's a different thing to show what's different in it, and then so that I think that's where like the kind of I'm forgetting the word, where that overlap is kind of is coming from. That like if we were to see the changes that they were actually doing, that they're saying they're actually doing, then I think people would be more open to be like, oh yeah, this looks fantastic. $70, sure, because I believe in your product from what you showed me. But they haven't shown really anything. We've seen one trailer, and it's like, all right, pre-orders, open up.
Right. That's fair. I feel like, as a general rule for the industry, I absolutely agree with that sentiment. My only thing is that, and this happened with when they first showed off The Last of Us Part 2 gameplay, and everybody was saying like, oh, they're going to do a bait and switch. Naughty Dog does not have a history of doing that, right? Naughty Dog is not Ubisoft. They don't sort of talk about a game and then you get it and it's half-baked and it's broken. Like, I remember when Last of Us Part 2 got its big, long 11-minute gameplay demo of Ellie running around, and all the haters were like, it's not going to look like this. It does. Naughty Dog doesn't lie. They don't stretch the truth, right? So that's my only thing with that. So I totally agree with, if you're somebody who's not familiar with Naughty Dog, then it's like, we haven't seen anything yet. Why are you asking $70? But for me, it's like when Naughty Dog says they built the game from the ground up, they have yet to mislead the audience when it comes to E3 demos or anything like that. So this is the separation of like somebody who's a diehard Naughty Dog fan and like a casual PlayStation fan. So that's fair. I totally take that point, Christian. Like, if you're somebody who's not familiar with that, yeah, you haven't seen anything yet. You have not seen the product. So that's totally fair. But it's gone gold was the point of the quick bite, and it's exciting because it means that they've got lots of time for polishing and or possibly getting that PC port good and ready, because they've been killing the PC ports, PlayStation Studio games. So that's all exciting. Go ahead, Rashad. Do you have something to say?
No. I was just saying, yes, I agree with literally everything that Gage said on this one, for sure. So not going to say anything.
Gage has spoken correct yet again. Moving on to Street Meat. Aren't you glad to have me back, Dan? First, we've got 2 bits of Street Meat, and we actually had a third, but I moved it to PXN News of the Week because there was an interesting update today. So, oh yeah, there's that Street Meat brought to you by Chicken Breast from your local grocery store. Use code Dirty Dan at your local grocery store. Go in and say Dirty Daniel Prindle. They will give you 10% off of your meat order. Moving on.
Funny too.
Moving on. Say Dirty Daniel Prindle sent me here, and they'll give you 10% off.
Hands meat.
Oh, it's a good show. ACG. Jeremy Penter, who is he's in the Xbox wheelhouse. He's a content creator and sometimes insider. He claims that the next Assassin's Creed game will be centered around the Aztecs, which sounds fucking awesome to me. But Jason Schreier has since refuted this, saying that the next project from Assassin's Creed is apparently Rift, which is a very small scale stealth game, and that will feature around the character from Assassin's Creed Origins, and it will be in Middle East or Egypt. And then Jason Schreier went on to say in his Bloomberg report that the game after that, the next big Assassin's Creed game, Infinity, he hasn't heard Aztec mentioned at all ever. So it's a direct sort of rebuttal of what ACG is saying. So it'll be curious to see. I feel like Aztec would be awesome, would be a really awesome time period to center an Assassin's Creed game that has the potential to be a very beautiful game. But I know a lot of people love the character from Origins, so people would also probably really like that. I didn't play Origins. What are you guys thinking on this? Where would you like to see Assassin's Creed go? Like, what are you thinking?
If you don't side with Jason Schreier on this, then I don't know what you're doing, because Jason Schreier's literally been the Assassin's Creed leaker for the past 10 years. Like, he has spoiled every single setting of the Assassin's Creed games for the last 10 years. It's insane. So
for sure.
Personally, I don't care where the games go as long as the gameplay looks good, and none of the games have excited me for a long time.
I agree with you.
So, I mean, what you said about the stealth game that they're doing as the smaller standalone title, that potentially could be really cool. But I never played Origins, so I have no attachment to the character, and that's probably my own fault for not playing it. But that's where I stand. Sorry, Dan. You're shaking your head.
Have you, just curious, have you played the more recent RPG-ish versions of Assassin's Creed?
That is the exact opposite of what I want from my Assassin's Creed experience.
Fair.
Yeah. I'm in the same camp.
I will say, I really want to play the one in France, though. That's the one I skipped.
Unity?
That I still really want to play.
Unity's great. It's the last good Assassin's Creed game.
Oh my god! Every time the parkour scroll comes up on my TikTok, I'm like, damn, this game looks so good. I want to play it.
Yeah, one of the last few games where Ubisoft was actually trying, because that game, the facial animations are better than Ghost Recon Breakpoint, and that game is 10 years old.
Although
it's crazy.
To be fair, that game was broken at launch for a while.
It was absolutely broken.
Yeah.
But it also has fantastic multiplayer. Dan and friend of the show Glenn and myself tried to get into it. The servers are down, I think. It did not work, so you won't be able to experience that, unfortunately. But it had proper 4-player co-op, doing heists and stuff. It was awesome. Assassin's Creed Unity was great.
And that's what people wanted for so long, and then they delivered it there, and then never saw it again.
Right, because the game as a whole happened to be broken, and it got negative feedback. So okay, we won't do it anymore. And it's no. This is exactly what we wanted. I wanted to take down one guard and then see my buddy drop from the rooftop and take down the second guard. That's cool. But yeah, no, you're right. They never did it again. It was awful. Assassin's Creed Unity, highly recommend. It's good stuff. Story was okay, but the gameplay was really, really good. And then for the 6 people still playing Avengers, the next character will reportedly be Bucky. And this is according to a very reliable Avengers leaker who leaked Crossbones. He leaked War for Wakanda. He leaked Kate Bishop, all that stuff. So apparently it's going to be Bucky. So, I mean, enjoy that if you want.
Apparently, go for it, Christian.
No, Ro, please.
I just wanted to say that apparently She-Hulk was supposed to be the next character to drop for this game. Apparently, this is revealed on a Xbox stream by mistake. So it could be that it was a mistake and that it's not going to happen. It's actually the next one after Bucky Barnes.
I also don't know the timing of that and this. This might be if they officially announce She-Hulk, this might be this is the next character after She-Hulk. I have no idea.
I'm going to add something to both Quick Bites and Street Meat, I suppose. So I'll start with my response to Avengers. And this will tie into the Quick Bite. Today, the PlayStation Plus confirmed their titles that are coming to this month's game catalog for premium and extra members, which I have. And one of those is Avengers, so maybe I'll eventually try it. Especially with the show Miss Marvel, me really enjoying those first 3 episodes. Like I'm interested in more Kamala content. But you're also going to get Stray, of course, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. I should play that DLC. And then a bunch of Assassin's Creed games, including Unity. Maybe I will finally play this now.
Can we just all appreciate for a second that he just said Kamala Khan tent? Fantastic.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Oh, you didn't even notice you did it? Wow.
I mean, I'm just that good, Dan.
That was great.
You're great.
Thank you.
Oh, you guys.
A compliment for once. That never happened.
All right, Dan. Don't get too cocky. Don't get too cocky, Dan. Settle down. All right. All right. Moving on to PXN news of the week. We got 2 ones here. We're gonna start off. We're gonna get the bad news out of the way, because it's extremely unfortunate and it makes me angry and want to ape out. GameStop is firing many key Game Informer staff and planning to heavily invest in the blockchain/NFT nonsense, which, if we're all unaware, has hit a 12-month all-time low. Everybody's done with this now, but not GameStop. They're getting into it, or Dr. Disrespect. Both of them are idiots. Anyways, so they're laying off tons of their workforce across GameStop and Game Informer. And like I said, they're investing that money into the NFT blockchain bullshit, including a lot of the staff they're laying off as key members from Game Informer. A lot of talented writers losing their jobs in favor of Bored Ape GameStop nonsense. Christian, I'm gonna let you start on this.
First of all, Gage, be careful what you say, because one of us on this podcast is giving money to those NFT grifters. I won't say who it is, but the name rhymes with LAN. Anyway, I'll start off with the Game Informer stuff, because I think that probably hurts the most as an aspiring content creator. Is that gonna happen for me? Probably not. But I follow a lot of these guys, and they do really cool work. What Alex Van Aken has done with the video content, and Alex is still there, but the team, the supporting team, and other people above him, how they've transformed the magazine in the past year alone, and especially during COVID, has been amazing. I looked to it for inspiration when I was doing a lot of my early video essay stuff, and I still do, right? But it hurts to see people who are making quality content get kicked by the wayside because GameStop wants to invest in NFTs. It's tragic and it's disgusting, and it's doubly hilarious now when that market actually opened, and they had pictures, JPEGs on there for sale that were worth $50 million, but sold for $34. It is come on, dude. GameStop, this is what you deserve.
It's extremely unfortunate. What really makes me, like I said earlier, makes me want to ape out, which just means I want to spit and hit things and yell really loudly, is that GameStop was given this crazy, miraculous second chance with the stock market situation that happened. This company was dying, and they were given an artificial second wind that no company has ever gotten in that way before. And they decide to immediately double down on things that gamers don't like. You had a chance to reinvent yourself as a brand and okay, what can we do better? Because what they were doing before, which was branching out from video games, getting into all this just generic nerd stuff, and again, the company was failing. So what do they do upon getting the second win, this infusion, is they immediately do the same thing again. That's the cherry on top for me that really pisses me off. But sorry, Dan, did you have something you want to say?
Yeah, the timing of this couldn't have been worse with me doing the whole thing with Midnight Society with their deal. And obviously I knew a little bit about I was getting into with that, because they talked early on about, they were going to have some kind of, tie into NFT or whatever. I didn't really understand back then what the hell that meant. Whereas now I'm just like, okay, well, I slightly understand it, I guess. But yeah, the timing of this is terrible because now it just makes me feel like garbage for doing that, for
You're not culpable,
participating
Jim.
in that, but not in GameStop specifically. But yeah, fuck GameStop. This is awful. Like, Game Informer is one of the best outlets out there, or at least it was before this happened. And yeah, it sucks. Sure.
Yep.
Alex had a tweet up saying that they felt like they were a skeleton crew before because like they didn't have very many people, and then like with 3 people gone, 3 very important people, it's like less than a skeleton crew. But they're still around. They're still making it content. They're still going to turn stuff out, and I'm going to do my best to support them moving forward. So.
Yeah, but churning out that content only just becomes even harder now that there's less people, as you're saying, with the skeleton crew being even more bony. So yeah, it's upsetting because GameStop has such an awesome people working for them, and they just decide to let them go or treat them poorly for something that nobody wants and is not going to make them any money, even though I think it is. But yeah, it's a shame, and I hate to see it because, as you were saying, I know Alex is still there, and I loved his Animal Crossing video and I think he did a Fortnite video about him and his brother. Like, I love both of those. They're like some of my favorite video game content videos out there. But there are many more people there that aren't going to be able to make those stuff for Game Informer. Hopefully they go on to bigger and better things, but it's sad. It's just sad to see. It was like the people that did lose their jobs and they were tweeting about it. It's like, damn, this guy seems like a really nice guy. Like, I don't know who this person is until now. It sucks that this is how I found out about you, but yeah.
One got fired on his birthday.
Yeah.
I would love to see another outlet or something like send an offer to GameStop to buy Game Informer. Like, just say, hey, we want to acquire them. Here's X amount of money, and like get them out of GameStop's umbrella, because I feel like it's an inevitable thing at this point that Game Informer is going to go down with the ship being GameStop eventually.
Well, I mean, it's a double-edged sword because it's technically not anyone's responsibility, but it's unfortunate that you don't see the same. It's unfortunate you don't see the same camaraderie with game journalists that you do with game developers, because I've known from just the years that I've spent paying attention to the industry and sort of being involved is that whenever there's like a sudden closure of a studio, a lot of the times other studios will be like, hey, anyone who just lost their job, apply with us. We'll give you something, right? So it's super unfortunate that you're not seeing Kotaku or Polygon or any of these places like doing the same thing where it's like, hey, you know that, and it's like we all say, it's only like 4 or 5 people that have lost their job, but I mean of a outlet, 3 people, but of an outlet that's already small, that's a big percentage, right? But I mean, yeah, it's unfortunate that we're not seeing sort of other outlets kind of offering to sort of take them in.
I will say, you're absolutely right, and I agree, and I want more of that to happen for journalists. That'd be awesome. I will say one thing that I really appreciate that, and this is a shout out to the Kind of Funny company. What they do with Games Daily is it allows them to have rotating guests every week, and then choosing to like move aside from that. I think from whatever their in-host plan was for that day, and then opt to instead use 2 of the 3, because at that point the third hadn't wanted to say who it was yet. It was just the 2 that were public saying that we were let go. Kind of Funny was like, okay, well then these 2 are going to be our highlighted guests for today's episode, and like they were able to get like a lot of exposure that way. So I thought that was really
That's
cool.
really cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. But it's super unfortunate. Again, salt in the wound for all these guys who are getting fired, and then they read an article and they find out, oh, we were fired for NFTs. That's so good. It's not like they were fired because GameStop wants to put funds into like a game rental program or something that's going to benefit consumer. No, NFTs, the thing that nobody wants, especially gamers. So yeah, like the wise Daniel Emanuel said, fuck GameStop. And the second bit of PXN news of the week. This was originally in Stream Meet, but there's an interesting development on this. So, hackers earlier this week claimed to obtain pictures of an internal. Christian, just let me. I got the second part of this. All right.
Please.
Okay. Now I'm thrown off because I don't know what you're about to type.
Go ahead.
Can I?
Yes.
Can I? Hackers claim to obtain pictures of Bandai Namco's internal release schedule for fiscal year 2023. Now, a lot of the dates on this were wrong, and it was originally dismissed as being fake. However, an interesting update is that 11 hours ago, Bandai Namco has confirmed that it actually was indeed hacked, and so it's kind of thrown that into question now. Now, I don't know what Christian, what you have to say here, but what I was going to suggest, if I'm allowed to, was that it could be that the picture that these guys released maybe was from a couple of years back, and it was from, and that's why the dates are off. But anyways, it mentioned things like Elden Ring DLC coming out in quarter 3, I want to say, fiscal year 2023, which obviously is not going to happen at this point. But also Armored Core was listed there, which is kind of what a lot of people are thinking is next, is From Software's next game. Christian, what do you have to say?
I'm of the belief that that mock-up picture is definitely fake, and it was kind of going around, and it's led to believe that is maybe true because they're using some stuff also from the NVIDIA leak. It's made to look a bit more believable. The Elden Ring DLC like completely throws me off, and for it to be that far away,
For sure.
I don't buy it. There's a lot of stuff I don't buy. And then you are right that they did admit that they were hacked. As far as I know, like what that hack actually was customer information, but not actually like assets from the actual company as far as like internal documents or timelines. And I don't know, the way that picture, that mock-up is made, it just screams kind of fake to me. So if I'm a betting man, I'd put it there, personally.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but fiscal year 2023, that means it ends June of 2023, right? Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So Q3 wouldn't mean like, traditional calendar Q3. I think it would mean like first part
March.
of 2023.
Yeah, March 2023.
Which wouldn't seem terribly off, I wouldn't think, for Elden Ring.
No.
I don't know.
But Q1, but the thing that throws it off and why people thought it was fake is that Q1 for Armored Core, I think, has already come to pass.
It would be right.
Which
is
why
in the next 3 months.
Yeah.
Right, which they're not obviously going to announce and then just immediately drop, right? So that's why a lot of people were saying that kind of throws it out of the water. Now, again, if they had leaked, if they had gotten some old files and this was from like an investor's slide that from like last year, right, where this was their original projected, and then they've changed it since. But yeah, it totally could be fake. The only reason I bring this up is that it does say it is another piece of, could be false information that suggests that Armored Core is the next FromSoft game, which From has said that they have whatever their next game is in the final stages of finishing up. So maybe it's that, but we'll see. We shall see. Next, we got some quick Fantasy Critic draft check-ins. I'm going to let Dan take care of this one, as always. Dan, did you want to do the check-in?
Sure, why not? Dan's in first, 152 points. Christian in second. Oh, shoot, I'm sorry. 123 points I have. Christian in second with 77 points. Rowe is third place. He's crawling up, though, 43 points. Engage sits at -10. -10.
10 now?
-10. Yeah.
-10.
Oof.
What happened?
TMNT.
Oh, because of Shredder. Yeah.
Stray's coming out though.
Yeah, you got Stray coming next week, and I have Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels next week. Let's go.
Oh,
Listen,
That's
Gage, you're gonna get at least 18 points next week for Stray.
you think it's going to get 88?
You heard it here
Good.
first.
I don't
You
think
heard it here
so.
first.
Wait, and Christian has Live a Life or Live a Live, Live a Live,
live.
Life.
Live
Live
Alive, Live a Live. It could be either way. I don't know.
Now, if you were to ask people close to me, my friends, my inner circle, my girlfriend, I've been told that I'm a sore loser, which is correct. But here's what I want to say. The fact that I was not able to secure Last of Us Remake, but Dan gets Hot Wheels DLC is bullshit. It's
I agree.
absolute fucking bullshit. I should have been able to snag that Last of Us remake. That would have been fine. I would have won because it would have got 100.
I agree with
This is
you.
bullshit.
I agree with you, Gage. I think that Last of Us remake should be included as well.
I'm gonna write the people behind OpenCritic and yell at them.
It is a partial remake though.
More work went into Last of Us remake than Hot Wheels DLC. That's
Hey.
for sure.
I mean, I'm not debating that at all. I mean, we should all combine our points together and take Dan now, and we probably still wouldn't even catch up to him.
No, we wouldn't.
I have a game that literally I'm gonna get 0 from Forza Motorsports 8, which is not coming out this year. I'm not getting points for.
As of you've got one game, and you've got all. As of right now, if we combine all of our points, we're still not anywhere near Dan. Dan's at 120, 70 plus 40 plus minus 10. We're at 110.
You guys have a lot of games left. I don't think you guys are giving yourselves enough credit.
I'm dropping 2 games if I can.
I need to
gotta
modify it. I
one
keep
more.
forgetting to drop things. Ay. Anyways, that's the fantasy draft. Check in. Are we doing the podcast best of all time, or are we doing that after news?
Oh,
it now.
either
Okay.
way, it doesn't matter.
Do it now.
Do it
Do it
now.
live.
Right now.
All
Live.
right. We've already explained. I wasn't here last week, but we've already explained the theme and the rules.
Yes.
Okay. Now everyone is announcing their individual picks. I'll go last because I have the best. Dan, let's
Yo.
have you go first.
Sure. All right. So this first pick, it was very contentious in the pre-show. I had to walk away. I was like, no, I had to go to the bathroom. But Master Chief is my first pick, of course, as everyone knows. I love Master Chief. And I was jokingly putting Cortana in here saying, is this cheating? Just being playful. However, I feel like there's a decent defense to include Cortana with him. And the reasons are Ratchet and Clank duo.
So are you being playful, or is there a good reason to include her?
No,
you
I'm
just contradicted yourself.
I'm just saying Ratchet and Clank, Banjo Kazooie. You can't separate Banjo and Kazooie. There's so many characters that I would argue.
You play as Ratchet and Clank. You play as Banjo and Kazooie. You do not play as Cortana.
True.
That's not a definition of protagonist, though. That was my point.
But it changes when you're talking about video games as a medium. That is the consensus that the three of us came to. Is that because it's video games,
but on the
protagonist
internet
means something a little different.
On the
You know
internet,
what?
that's not the consensus.
The Flood from Super Mario Sunshine is more of a protagonist than Cortana by this definition. You know what I mean?
Is Ellie the protagonist of The Last of Us Part 1?
She
Yes.
is a protagonist, yes.
No, she is thematically, but she's not the
Thematically.
protagonist. She's not the protagonist.
She is a protagonist, yes, she is. How is she not?
I don't think that works for
Left
video
behind
games,
DLC.
though. If this was a show, she would be a protagonist. But when you're talking about video games, the protagonist is the character you play as.
But there's not one protagonist. Like, even if you go to best of all time protagonist lists, I went to them earlier today. There's tons of people on there that aren't playable. In my opinion, and like you guys are welcome to your own opinions as well. I'm not saying that you aren't, but like there's so many different characters that you could define as being a protagonist that aren't playable. And the point
Okay.
of
Dan,
Yo.
you won me over. I am agreeing with you. You're 1,000% right. Yes, this makes a lot of sense. However, when you say plus Cortana, I don't like the plus.
No, I was just, that was me being playful, but I was being serious when I was saying Cortana is absolutely a protagonist. And I almost said Cortana instead of Master Chief just to spite you guys. I just want to tell you that.
That would have been a better pick. Cortana's more interesting than Chief.
What? Get out of here. They're both,
Anyways,
but again, I think of them as one, and that's the thing. That's what I was trying to get at. Like, Master Chief is nothing without Cortana. Cortana is nothing without Master Chief. They are one. Like, they work together in unison. And the games that they don't work together in unison, Halo 5, not a very good game campaign-wise. That's my point. Like, they are synonymous to each other.
If this were a video game, you'd be the antagonist, Dan.
That's fine.
Dan is the antagonist of the film.
Because I just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah, there it is. Master Chief is your first pick. All right. Are we doing one pick at a time, or are we doing everyone does their 4?
Oh, I don't care.
How did we do it last time? Last time we did it, it worked out pretty well.
I'm never one at a time.
One at a time. Okay. Ro, give me your first pick.
Okay. Okay, so my first pick, I'm gonna go with Clementine from The Walking Dead. I guess not the first season, but
Correct.
the second, third, and fourth ones. But yeah, Clementine I think is an awesome main character. She has some really awesome badass moments, especially in the second season. We're still not bitten is still one of my favorite lines from her.
Yes.
But yeah, I love Clementine. I still haven't played the final season. I know people are a bit mixed on that last one, but I loved playing as Clementine through the games that I have played as her, and I would be willing to go back. Oh, Dan, what's going on here?
I have a question, Ro. Wait a minute. Can we consider the still not bitten line as part of her being a protagonist? Because that was in season 1 that she said that.
No, wasn't that was season 2?
Season 2.
Wait.
Oh, you got so excited. Look at you. You got
she?
so
That was in
fucking
season 2.
excited.
Hang on. Wait a minute. Didn't she say that in season 1
No.
also?
No, she wasn't a
Maybe
badass.
she
in
did.
season
I don't
1.
remember that, but she was a baby in season 1. In season 2, she was trapped in the shed.
I lied then.
And when she got out,
because they were quarantining her to see if she was bitten. Yes, correct.
Can I say something?
Uh-oh.
I love when Dan's wrong. It's
Christian, type into Google top 50 protagonists of all time and tell me there's not 10 on there that are not playable. Boom.
This is the funny thing about Dan. I already agreed with him moments ago. You're right, and yet he still holds on to this hate that he has for no
Do you want to
reason.
know why? Because he knows he's wrong. Even though you switched sides, I didn't. He's wrong. You're both wrong.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to pull up the top 50 protagonists of all time and display them on the screen while everyone else.
Now, is this according to Harvard's brightest scientists, or what's the source here? Trust me, bro. What's the source?
Anybody. Everyone.
Exactly.
Everyone has a
Exactly.
voice.
Christian, give me your first pick.
Absolutely no brainer. Ellie from The Last of Us Part 2.
Hell yeah.
Good.
Hell yeah.
That's 20 years ago. I'm sorry.
I should have picked that one first.
This is gonna be a bloodbath when we get
No,
to the
it's okay,
polls.
it's okay.
This is gonna be a bloodbath. This is gonna be good.
It's going to be really hard for me to. I mean, it's okay. This is going to be easy actually for me to talk about real quick. The complexity, the emotional depth that she has, and her story, like the dynamic kind of change she goes through in Elu 2 is one of the best I've ever seen in a video game. I'm really hoping that one of us on this podcast plays through it because it's well worth playing. It's one of the best video games I've ever played. It's in my top 10. So Ellie, incredible character. Such nuance.
I don't know why I thought, no one's going to pick Ellie. One of the best characters ever. Yeah.
I almost got her tattoo, except a friend of mine got it first, so I'm not going to be matching
Not to
tattoos
do
with them. So
I very much wanted to, but as soon as I knew that there's gonna be a lot of people out there that did it, so it would lose its luster. But it's a fantastic tattoo. I absolutely am in love with her character design. Okay, so I gotta switch my order around, just because one of my picks is gonna be the one, the only Joel Miller from The Last of Us Part 1, which I absolutely love that they're calling the remake Part 1 because now it just fits so nicely. And they stopped calling it The Last of Us and The Last of Us Part 2. It's Part 1 and Part 2. Joel Miller, everything that Christian just said, except in my opinion, a little bit more. Very morally gray character. I love that we don't get flashbacks. I love that we don't get to know exactly what he did before he met Ellie. We were just told that he is a man who's crossed, as Troy Baker said in the audition, the line that he was given from Neil Druckmann is that he's very few more lines left to cross. And you get that. You get that from him while also just bonding to this guy immediately and loving his journey with Ellie. I feel like of all the people on my list, this is the one I have to sort of campaign the least for. We all know Joel. We all love Joel. And yeah, man, just from that scene with Sarah in the first hour of the game, right? You've known this character. You've known this character for all of maybe 30 minutes of gameplay, and it's just, man, it hits you. So, yeah, Joel Miller.
The Last of Us 1 changed my life.
Yep.
And that opening is part of why. So good.
Yep. I bawled my eyes out. I didn't even have a PlayStation at the time. I was one of those Xbox people looking through the chain fence, watching all the cutscenes string together on YouTube. I sat there weeping like a child.
So good.
Wow.
So good.
So good.
So good. And give me your second pick.
Some might even say Last of Us Part 1's the only Last of Us game. My
No.
second.
Fuck.
Most
What?
people would also say protagonists in video games are people you don't play as. But anyways, continue.
You know what? Let's hear from the audience. Keurig, you're in the chat here. Do you think that a video game protagonist has to be playable? Let us know. My
Emphasis on the video game part. Go ahead.
My second one, Ezio Auditore de Firenze. I love Ezio.
That
Such
is
a
a
what?
Kind of.
kidding. Please go on.
Such a fantastic character. This was literally the renaissance for Ubisoft and their characters and their stories of the Assassin's Creed games because, well, it was also quite literally the renaissance, but it was really good. Ezio, I just loved how you got to see him grow up from being a baby all the way up to him being an old man. I absolutely loved that story arc through the 3 games that he played in. And like he's such a likable character. He was always very lighthearted, and by the end of the franchise and Revelations, I was absolutely like just invested in him as a character, and absolutely loved the stuff that they did with Altair and him when he was old man. So, love that Ezio. So good.
Did he ever stop being a baby though? Okay, I'm just bugging. I should have put Connor on my list just to bug you.
Oh,
Does anybody else have respect for Desmond Miles?
yes, I do.
Okay. Well, yeah.
No, he found his way.
Just curious.
Bro, what you got for me?
Oh,
What's
I'm
your
next.
second?
Okay. So my next pick is the hero of time, Link.
No.
Yes.
Wow.
Right back at you, Christian. You stole Ellie from me. I steal Link. the
Which
hero.
one?
I have to pick one of them?
No,
that's not how it
He's the
works.
same.
No, he
Yeah.
gets all of them.
Do you have a specific choice for Link?
get
If you
all
do,
of
then
them?
I will.
He's
if
the
you have a-
same character.
I would
no,
say it's the same character, but
not.
Is,
he's
okay,
reincarnated. Okay.
I don't
Christian,
know.
if- I'll do
I
that.
don't know Zelda. Is it like a Spider-Man situation where there's different Spider-Men, or is it Link? Like, is Link the same soul? The same
Link is not the same Link. Christian's right. He's not. It's not the same guy. He doesn't carry his memories all the time. It's a hero of time reincarnated for certain time periods and eras and all that kind of stuff. So Toon Link is not the same as Breath of the Wild Link and all that stuff. So Christian, if you do have a specific Link, I will choose a specific Link.
Rashan gets to pick first though, because you
Definitely.
chose-
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. And Ro, you can have any Link or like all of them. I will let you have.
Oh, okay.
For the purpose of this thing, yeah, Link, go for it. Yeah. Take it.
Okay. Okay, I will take it. If I do, I am curious to know what specific Link you chose though. But I am, if you will allow it, I will take steal Link. But yeah, he has so many badass moments, even more than Clementine. He's such a humble guy, quiet guy, thankless. He does all these amazing things for little to no reward, always protecting the princess, all that kind of stuff. But he's such a cool character without saying pretty much anything. But you still like get that emotes like. What Samus has gotten to do with the most recent game, Link has been doing, I think, for all of his games. Without the speech, you get what's going on. With his little hias, you still feel it. But the Wind Waker, the battle between Ganondorf and Link lives forever rent free in my head. I love that battle. But there's so many more across the franchise that I think I make a good argument as Link being the best protagonist. If I, got a little more time. But yeah, Link. For sure.
We should make a point, all of us, to do those videos as well to make our case with our polls, because that
Yeah.
was quite good.
And somebody who throws everyone under the bus with their video.
I don't know what
Christian-
you're talking about.
Before you go, Christian, Keurig has responded to my question in the chat, and unfortunately, I shouldn't read this, but he says,
You
"Good
should.
question. I believe the protagonist must be playable. That means games that switch between characters is what makes them a protagonist. That means Abby is a protagonist, and I say this because The Last of Us Part 3 will all center around Abby and may have a cameo from Ellie. Heck, you're speaking to a guy that was fine with Ellie being okay, I'm not gonna say that
That's
because
really-
it's a spoiler. But
Eric, I would almost disagree with you at the very end. I think Tilu Part 3 will have to revolve around Ellie. Like
Great.
Abby may be featured in it a little bit, but like Neil has come out and said like The Last of Us is Joel and Ellie.
Sure.
Like The Last of Us is about them.
Okay.
Anyway, I mean, even though you play as Abby, like it's still revolving around the story of Ellie. That's
I
hope
did.
so.
Did he say that this story is a trilogy? Like has Neil expressed that he wants to do 3 games, or did he just say that The Last of Us in general is centered around those 2?
If I remember correctly, he said that he had a story in mind, but nothing has been written.
Okay,
Just like
I would.
the same way Tilu Part 2 had a story in mind, but nothing was ever written after Part 1.
Okay,
He said if we have a story we're telling, we'll tell it.
he should have
Yep.
kept that
I
story
would
in his head.
You wouldn't
I
know.
love
Damn it.
I love The Last of Us Part 2. I think it's a masterpiece. I would prefer to him to just leave it alone now because we
We said
just
that for
got
part
through.
1. We said
We
that for
just did it.
part 1.
And I continue
Right,
to
but
say
Part
that.
2.
Dan,
But here's the thing. But part 2 is a masterpiece. Part 1, in my opinion, is a flawless masterpiece. Part 2 is a flawed masterpiece. Like in my opinion, we just got by. Like it's still amazing 9 out of 10 experience, but like it was
It
a
could have
little
gone another
rocky
way.
there. Like we've discussed at length. Like if they had changed the order of the story, it could have been much better, and like certain things and all that stuff. Where it's like, I don't know. I'm a little nervous. Just leave it. Just let it be. Just let it be.
We could do an entire episode on Last of Us. That'd be awesome.
That would be a great idea. We should start doing bonus episodes where we just discuss certain topics. That'd be great.
bro, you want to know what link I chose?
Yes.
It was a Toon Link. When we
Yes. Yes. I would have stolen from you then.
Yeah, I think he's like fantastic. He's the one that like has the most emotional complexity, and we see that because through the animation, and it's also doubly awesome because he isn't the hero of time. He's not an incarnation of Link. He's just a big brother trying to get his little sister back, and that's what makes him, in my opinion, like one of the strongest Links.
I got chills when you said that.
Very
That,
cool.
that
Breaker,
sounds
man.
that sounds really sweet. Yeah. Shout out to Carrick with the correct opinion in the chat. By the way, love to see it. Love to see intelligent viewers.
Hell yeah.
The correct
Thank you.
opinion. That's a
Christian, your second pick.
Yeah, for my second pick, I'm gonna go horny mode
Oh, yeah.
and pick Tubi from Nier Automata. I think the way Tubi has to maneuver like her identity between like android but also a person with like feelings and autonomy is one of the coolest sci-fi stories I've ever seen in video games, and the way that's explored through multiple protagonists in that game that then all lead back to the character of Tubi and I forget the name of the what's his name? Nines. I think is very strong. Tubi's like an amazing character, and I love her to death. So, Tubi.
My second pick, which was originally my first pick, because he's my favorite fictional character of any media of all time, is the one and only John Marston from Red Dead Redemption, specifically from Red Dead Redemption 1, although as a fan, I actually liked what they did with him in the second one. I liked that they made him more flawed because to me, that adds depth to a character. But I loved seeing him in his immature phase where he wasn't doing the right thing. But John Marston, specifically in Red Dead Redemption 1, is a character that kind of awoken something in me where I really discovered that video games could be art and could really have a lasting impact on you. John Marston is such an interesting character. We have a lot of anti-heroes on this list that we're going to talk about, but John Marston, of all of them, is including Joel, I think is the most pure representation of what an anti-hero is, because he doesn't catch feelings with any of the wonderful cast of characters that he meets along the way. He is solely doing whatever he needs to do to get back to his family. He is not doing anything for the goodness of the world or the goodness of his heart, hunting down his old gang members. He's doing what he has to do because his family is being held hostage, and he does whatever he needs to do to get back to his family. And that really stuck with me as a kid. I don't know why, but it was just something that I found really beautiful. And when he does finally get back to his family, him and his wife start arguing immediately, and there's something so beautiful, and there's something really special about Rob Wiedoff. He's only voiced this character. This is the only acting credit he has to his name, and he killed it, and he absolutely killed it. So there's something, I think, outside of the lore of the game, there's something unique with this character where as much as we love Troy Baker and he kills it as Joel, it's like he's done a million things. And even Nolan North, who's amazing, he's done a million things. Laura Bailey is amazing. She's done a million things. I think it's really cool that we have this incredible AAA tier performance from this guy who's only done this character, and that's it. And you won't hear his voice anywhere else. So John Marston is my pick. He's my number one pick. I love this man. Yeah, it's like I said, my favorite character of any media, of any fiction of all time.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Dan.
Yo.
And I'm gonna throw out a hot take just because we're keeping it spicy this week. Red Dead Redemption 1 is still Rockstar's swan song. Dan, who's your third pick?
John Marston is such a great pick, Gage, and he's also, a great protagonist in Red Dead Redemption 2, alongside
he plays him.
Alongside my third protagonist, which is Arthur Morgan. My goodness. I think in the same vein of John Marston, well, of course, this has changed now because there is a new project that the voice actor of Arthur Morgan is in now. But previously, he wasn't in anything either. And he kind of came out with this voice, and you're just like, holy crap. And coming on the back of Red Dead Redemption, I'm like, there's no way they're going to make a protagonist as compelling as John Marston. And they absolutely did that with Arthur Morgan. Like, he is such an amazing character with a ton of depth, and this gravelly voice, I just freaking love it. It literally is just so pungent. I don't know the best word to describe that, but the end of Red Dead Redemption 2 absolutely just woo! That was a tearjerker.
I want to add something real quick, and this is not to diminish your pick at all, because Arthur Morgan is a fantastic character, and I don't blame you at all for picking him. But the brilliance of Arthur Morgan is, like you said, thinking that you couldn't top John Marston, and then you have this character who does, but then they also, not only do they create this fantastic character who's brilliantly written, brilliant voice acting, but is also used to set the stage for the character of the first game, because how John Marston starts in Red Dead Redemption 2 versus how he ends is directly because of Arthur Morgan. So Rockstar, that's a brilliant 4D chess move in terms of writing. Like, Rockstar does not get enough credit for that. The fact that this character was introduced was so high quality, but then also was necessary to the story of Red Dead to actually change the character who ends up being the protagonist of the first game. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Rockstar killed it with that. Go ahead.
I'll add to this too, because I wanted to mention it too before Gage put it so beautifully. When I got to the end of Red Dead 2, I was like, man, what an amazing game. I love this. And to only then enter the epilogue, and I was like, yup, this has entered S tier, like masterpiece levels of game. The way it like recontextualizes one was like beautiful. It was literally like poetry. It was so good.
It is. It's crazy. They don't get enough credit for that. Like, that is something that it's so, yeah.
I'm sorry.
I agree.
Keurig is asking if any of us picked Aloy.
We haven't finished yet.
I know.
Oh.
But
I
Aloy?
don't have it. She was not even an honorable mention for me.
No.
Damn. I mean, she's not on my list either, but damn.
I only mention that because these two knuckleheads down below, actually, I don't know the orientation of how it looks on YouTube, but these guys didn't write their list. They're writing it as they say it. So I don't know. But apparently, no. The answer is no. Sorry. Aloy is not on. Also, isn't that a bit on the nose? Everything's metal and her name's Aloy. Is that explained in the games? Don't tell me. I'll play the who are we at now? We're at Christian, your third pick.
No, Ro.
Are we?
Is it me?
Yes,
Dan, you went?
Please.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so we have 5 picks or 4 picks?
4 picks.
4 picks. Okay, so this is
your third. I did my second. Sorry, I thought I was on my third.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so my next pick is Sora from the Kingdom Hearts franchise. I don't think anybody here has played Kingdom Hearts. Just me on this one. Oh, Christian, you have, but you didn't like it that much, right?
Played one. Yeah.
Played one.
I watched Advent Children as a child with no context. Zero context, and thought it was amazing.
Completely different. But okay. Made by the same company, I guess. But yeah. Anyways, Sora, yes, I think nostalgia has a big part to play in why I chose him. But Sora is a fantastic character. He, like Link, is similar to Link, is selfless, humble, and is just trying to get his friends back together. Like this epic journey that he's gone on for like the past 3 games is just so he, Kairi, and Riku to just be on their island chilling again, man. Like that's all he wants. But the freaking darkness and all this crazy stuff happening doesn't let him. So yeah, Sora has had a lot of awesome moments throughout the franchise that I would definitely go into if he makes it in the top, you know. But Sora is my third pick. Fantastic character. Awesome battle scenes. He's just a cool anime character, man. He's just a cool anime kid. Can't wait for Kingdom Hearts 4.
Sorry, I was distracted by Dan skinning
What are
a
you
small
doing?
animal on his desk.
I literally spilled my entire cup of water all over my desk here, and so
Oh,
I
no.
frantically
Oh,
was
good.
drying it up. Yeah, I'm an idiot.
Everything good?
Yep, I'm just dumb.
Hey, you said it, not me.
Christian, give me your third pick.
Now I'm curious to see whether or not, like, maybe somebody like in another life would pick Cloud. Maybe Rose, the fourth pick is Cloud. I don't know. I'm just postulating.
It's not, unfortunately.
Okay, my third pick is I was lucky enough to snag this character because I realized nobody else did it, and I think he's worthy of at least being in the conversation.
I could have picked it.
Should be a top 10 maybe. And that is Geralt of Rivia.
Oh, good pick.
Having only played Witcher 3, I think it is a testament to the writing, as we've mentioned plenty of times on this podcast, of how compelling he is as a character. For me to be coming into the end of a trilogy and be so enamored with his life and all the characters in it, the way my Geralt came out, I was so happy with him. Like one of the most like emotional arcs I've seen me go through with like, and it, to be like this long RPG where all the side quests are still coloring in the way my Geralt is coming out. I thought was phenomenal, and I'm picking him as one of my top 4.
Choice. Everything you said. All right, my third pick. This is my fun pick. My other three are serious. This is my fun pick. I'm gonna go with the very recognizable Sam Fisher, voiced, of course, by the beautiful Michael Ironside. You want to talk about gravelly voices? I present to you the king of gravelly voices. A man who, you know what, we can all relate to him, gets dicked around by the government, right? Gets angry about it, smashes people's face in the sinks. His daughter gets kidnapped, you know, he shoots people. It's just, Sam Fisher's great, right? He's great. It's mostly the voice. I'm going to be honest with you guys. All right, it's mostly the voice. But in terms of best protagonist of all time, I feel like when it comes to video game, I mean that's one of the most important things is how a character is portrayed and acted. And Sam Fisher is like I said, he's just one of those characters where if all of us, whether we're Splinter Cell fans or not, if we were watching an E3 presentation and the screen went black and we all heard Michael Ironside, we'd all know immediately that it was Splinter Cell. So Sam Fisher. He gets one of my picks. Dan,
Yo.
fourth and final pick.
Yes. My final pick is none other than Nolan North's Nathan Drake. Absolutely phenomenal character. I'm a huge Uncharted fan, of course. It is literally the reason why I picked up a PS3. I didn't pick it up until the Slim version launched because I think Uncharted 2 was coming out, and I was like, man, I really want to get into this. This franchise looks amazing. Got into it and love Nathan and Elena and Sully and all those characters and the way he interacts with all of them. It's so great. Nolan North does a fantastic job. By far, in my opinion, Nolan's best performance of any character. And yes, I just love it. It's great. Love it. And I have water all over the
What do you mean Nolan North's best role? You didn't like him as Untitled Marine in Halo 3?
Yeah. Actually, he did play was it Mickey?
He's in all of them.
He played Mickey in ODST, right?
Yeah, but I think he's in Halo 2, 3, and
Yeah.
Reach as Marines in the background.
He is, yep.
Isn't he Desmond Miles?
He is, yes.
He is as well, yeah. He's everything. He's in every game. Roshan, your fourth and final pick.
Oh boy. Okay, my final pick is gonna be Kratos from 2018, God of War. You want to talk about a character that has been reimagined? That is Kratos in 2018. Completely different character, and in the best way possible. Curry Barlog on his team did a fantastic job. Just reinventing him, as I said, and just delivering an amazing story, father and son story that I can't wait to see continue later this year. But yeah, just the ups and downs on that like fairly simple journey, just like going on like a trip to that your mom sent you on. It's like such a simple story, but they just did such a great job doing that, and the character moments that they happen between Kratos and Atreus are just so good, and the badass action scenes are incredible. I know that doesn't have anything to do with Kratos himself, but if he wasn't there, it wouldn't be as badass as That's exactly like if it wasn't him, it wouldn't be as badass as it was. But yeah, Kratos is my my final pick, and I don't have a lot of experience with the older games too. This is just like going off of the 2018 one, and yeah, it just did a fantastic job with that character.
I just want to quickly point out, I did not think of Kratos when I was coming up with my list, but I think this is actually one of the strongest picks on here because not only did you like you said they added character depth, but to add character depth to such a one-dimensional character that had been established for so long and remain true to the character, right? He's still filled with rage. He's still this ultra violent, ultra aggressive guy, but adding depth that doesn't conflict with any of that to him was incredible. That was really incredible. Yeah. That's a really great pick.
Christopher Judge, amazing.
Killed
job.
it.
Christ.
Killed it.
Yeah.
Right? I bet they were. I almost wonder if this is one of those situations. I mean, this is a film reference, so not everybody would get it. But I wonder if this is kind of like Quentin Tarantino trying to find Christoph Waltz, where he was just like, I need to find this perfect guy, and I don't know if this is going to work. You know that they wanted to do mocap for 2018, and they wanted to find this guy who, had the physicality and the acting chops. And yeah, like you said, Dan, Christopher Judge, he walks in and he kills it. I haven't heard of his name before this. Like, what a find for Sony Santa Monica. What a find.
One of my favorite childhood shows that I watched with my parents all the time when I was little, Stargate SG-1. Christopher Judge played Teal'c in that series. It is a phenomenal sci-fi series. Amazing. I want them to bring Stargate back.
With Christopher.
I heard that it's actually a cult classic. I was going to make jokes, but I've heard nothing about it.
I wanted to make jokes too.
It's so good. I'm telling you, it's so good.
But you can understand how most people haven't seen Stargate. The character's name is Teal'c. Let's be real.
Yeah, but there's very good story reasons why. It's a great show. I'm telling you.
I have heard that, so I will refrain from making jokes. I have heard that it's good. But yeah, great pick, Rashan. Excellent pick. Christian, your fourth and final.
Before that, I'm going to mention a few honorable mentions. I will not be speaking on them. I'm just going to list off their names.
Is Cortana one of them?
Funny.
Guys.
I'm going to like 15 characters, all right?
Okay.
The Knight from Hollow Knight, the Robe Figure from Journey, Luigi from Luigi's Mansion, Crash Bandicoot, Wolf from Sekiro, Sleeper from Citizen Sleeper, Stanley from Stanley Parable, Samus Aran, Leon Kennedy, Sam Porter Bridges, Bayonetta, Soap McTavish.
From which game? 'Cause- Sorry.
I guess one more for two.
Okay.
And then we mentioned the other ones. So, okay. Now, my fourth and final pick, giving a run for Sam Fisher's money for that grovelly. Oh, I didn't even think about Sonic. For the grovelly voice. That is David Hayter's Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid 4.
Excellent pick. Wow.
Solid fucking Snake, dude. Having to deal with death, with identity, with who he is in relation to Big Boss, while also still being his own person, while also being, having to protect people from Liquid. Solid Snake is like by far one of the greatest video game characters ever. It's why people still want access to Metal Gear Solid games. It's why Konami is bringing them back, and people are demanding and asking for wide releases of 3 and 4. Like, that character is arguably one of video games' best. I'll leave it at that.
Excellent pick. And every time I hear David Hayter's voice, I tell you what, I get a Solid Snake. That's for sure.
Oh, killing it today.
All right, we've all done our. Okay, so my fourth and final pick is directly at odds with Shan's, but not really. It's the one and only Lee Everett from Telltale's The Walking Dead Season 1. This is another one of those characters that came onto the scene. I don't think anyone was expecting this game to be as good as it was, but it took us all by surprise in the same way that Joel Miller did, I think. And just, yeah, what an incredibly 3D and depth character, where you have this character who's there's no room for speculation. When the game starts, he is on his way to jail for murdering someone. This is somebody who broke the law and killed someone, and over the course of 5 episodes, you learn to absolutely be enthralled with this character. I would kill for this man who is a murderer. And not even for a really good reason, right? Like, just he lost his temper, and something shitty happens that happens to a lot of people. It's not like when games are able to do that, to take a objectively flawed character and make you absolutely like just fall in love with them and become so attached to them. It's something special, and I think that the voice actor absolutely killed it. I'm forgetting his name right now. He petitioned to be on the Walking Dead show as Ezekiel, and he absolutely should have got it. I can't remember his name. It's bugging me so much.
I'll get it.
Okay. I'm gonna pause while you get it, because he deserves to be.
Ilmar Mulder.
That's definitely
Or
not
Lamar.
it.
Lamar
That's
Mulder.
definitely not
No,
it. That's definitely
is.
not it.
it is.
Dave Fenoy.
No, it's not. What the
Dave
heck
Fenoy.
this
This
guy?
is. It's Dave Fenoy.
Fenoy.
I knew it was D. I knew it was a Dave. I knew it was Dave Fenoy.
Lee Everett, voiced by Lamar Mulder. It says on Google.
That is a lie. That is an absolute lie. It's
What
Dave
the heck?
Fenoy. It's definitely Dave Fenoy. Yeah, he killed it. He absolutely killed it. I think all of us here love Everett, and we all became attached with him. And what I think was so special about The Walking Dead Season 1 is that while you could make choices for the character in a way that's very similar to Geralt, it wasn't like Commander Shepard where you could totally mold this character into anything you want. Like he still has a character that is kind of structured no matter what you choose. He still is a good man at heart. And yeah, Lee Everett, what a man. What a man, looking after Clementine. I'm not going to spoil it, but he's an incredible man. I highly recommend everyone goes. The first season of The Walking Dead, fantastic game. Christian has a secret. Christian, tell us your secret.
Speaking of which, I have a secret. I've
Is it
never
about your
played.
Solid Snake?
I've never played the Walking Dead games.
No.
Never. I played.
Christian needs to change that.
I played half of Wolf Among Us episode 1.
You
I
even
played.
finished the Wolf Among Us either.
I played like the first episode of Batman, the Telltale series.
I would
then-
You don't like Telltale?
Why would you play that one?
I'm gonna
It was free or something. I don't know. I had it.
make a statement. I would like for Rashan and Christian to either say motion adjourned or motion approved or motion denied. That's what I want from Rashan and I guess actually only Rashan can speak to this.
Okay.
Daniel, you can't because of the context. Christian,
Motion. What am I saying?
you're saying motion approves. You're
Okay.
agreeing, or you're saying motion denied. Ready?
Okay.
Christian, you not playing the first season of The Walking Dead. Second season's amazing, Rashan. I agree with you. I love the second season. But you not playing the first season of Telltale's The Walking Dead is as egregious as Dan not finishing The Last of Us Part 2.
Motion
Denied.
agreed.
Hold
Agreed.
on. For context, this was me during high school. I did not have money to buy games. Dan
That's
bought
fine.
this game and then decided not to play.
But
Full-grown
now
adults. How dare you.
you've been enlightened. Now you have no excuse. So from
I'm-
this day
I'm
forward,
scared because I've heard those games like don't age well. Gameplay.
they are
That's
janky as
true.
fuck, but
That's
you
true.
will still cry regardless.
I played it on the Vita. I played it on the freaking Vita for the first time.
And
That's
you
where I
wept like
played
a
it, and it was
child at the
jank
end,
as
didn't
heck.
you?
Pardon?
Here we
You
go.
wept,
Yeah,
you wept like
and I
a
still
child at the
cried.
end of it, didn't you? Yes, you did.
Yep.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I've seen the end of the first season.
Oh,
It's
that's
okay.
I've never had spoiled a long time. But
I think
guess
you can still
when
enjoy it.
play the game-
I
yeah.
think the impact will still hit if you spend 5 episodes with these characters. 5 episodes are only like an hour and change each. All right, this needs to get moved to the top of your backlog priority.
It isn't. However, I am. I am literally on GG right now, and I am adding The Walking Dead to games I want to play.
At least the first season. At
Yeah.
least the
That's
first season.
we forgive you, but
I
play
don't.
it someday, at least, eventually. There's
I
so
will-
many games
I will
that
try
are
to-
like that for me too, but yeah.
No, I will try to play it by the end of this year.
I like that. All right, we're running late again because I'm hosting. What you got for me? We haven't even gotten to the topic of the show yet. My lord, what you got for me, Daniel? What have you been playing?
Was that last week that we all played Fall Guys? Right after
Yes.
the podcast?
Yeah.
No,
And
no,
then-
I
oh,
wasn't.
yeah,
I
you-
wasn't invited. I wasn't
You-
invited again.
It was after the podcast. What do you mean? Anywho, yeah, we played Fall Guys. We
Yeah,
played
who
Fall
won?
Guys, and yeah,
Dan.
Christian won too many times because
Too many times.
yeah. Okay, so to be fair, on the last one, was it the last one we did? I was literally like the second level from the top, and Glenn can attest to this because Glenn played with us, Gage, because he was online, and I was on the second from the top platform on the last level where the platforms like fall into each subsequent platform. Christian was like at the very bottom or second from the bottom or something. And I'm literally up there. I'm like, Glenn, where's he at? Glenn tells me where he's at. So I look around while I'm jumping around and I see him. I'm like, I can totally fuck him over right now. So I'm jumping on my platforms on the second from the top. And I'm like, I'm going to jump on this one platform and he's screwed because there's no other path. I go for the jump, completely miss the platform, and Christian wins. I was so mad. But yeah, that's...
Gage, if you can be so kind as to finish the line I'm about to tell you right now. If you ain't first,
Your last.
thank you.
I just... That's pretty much it. We played golf again, too, and then I'm not taking the blame on that
What
one.
happened there?
I'm not taking the blame on this one, Gage, so don't point
Yeah,
me.
I was also not invited to that.
Yes, you were.
No, it wasn't.
The second time you were.
The second time I was. The first
Okay,
time.
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
It's not fair. That's the whole point we're getting at.
Oh.
Rashan, what you got
Yes.
for me?
I've also just played Fall Guys. That was it. I played Fall Guys with these guys. I had to leave a couple times because my granny is visiting, so I had to like step away, say hello.
Wait, Grandma
greet her.
Warner?
Yes, not the one that watches the show though, as we
Oh.
discussed. Yeah, a different granny. But yeah, that's literally all I played. I played a little bit before the show today as well, Fall Guys. But yeah, that's it. That's all I had the chance to play this week.
Christian, what you got for me?
In the span of 2 days, I started and beat Oxenfree, an indie game that has been in my backlog for far too long. And yeah, it was a great game.
Yay.
I think the strongest part of that game is the dialogue, which I then went online and read that a lot of that dialogue was where the characters were all in one room talking together, just like off the cuff, and they were using that to tie. They had lines too, but a lot of the stuff was also improv. And the way that like works organically in the game, I thought was incredible. I almost thought like I wasn't even going to finish that game because there are no options to lower the music. And in the beginning of the game, the music was louder than the characters. And a lot of the character dialogues was like interrupting the dialogue that was ongoing. I'm like, is the whole game going to be like this? And it wasn't. It was like the first 15, 20 minutes. And yeah, very cool. I love that there's like alternate endings. There's an actual ending if you do a second playthrough, which I haven't done. I don't know if I'll do. But my ending I thought was fantastic. Very cool game, Oxenfree. Lived up to expectations.
Yay.
Great game.
Good, very good.
And then myself, I did not play Fall Guys with the boys, and I did not play VR with the boys. I instead have been playing Escape from Tarkov. I'm back into that, been sucked into it. New wipe, let's go. New update, new guns, new maps, new all that good stuff. So I am back in Tarkov trying to escape. When I'm not there, I'm still there, if you know what I mean. So,
Wait, where was our invite for Tarkov?
you don't know how to work a computer, Dan. What are you going to do?
I would love to see him try to play Tarkov.
Dan, yeah, I know you. I know your tastes. I can't remember what shooter we were playing, but we were playing something that you already. Oh, Sniper Elite. You're like, I don't have the patience for this. That's hilarious. If you think you're gonna play Tarkov, you need to eat food and water to hydrate yourself. Otherwise, your arms start shaking. Dan, this game is not for the faint of heart. This is not for the faint of heart. You can get dehydrated and get a migraine in the game. It's a shooter. So
That game is
yeah, it's so good. It's amazing. I love it. It's like the survival games. You either love that genre or you can't stand it. But it speaks to me. I love it, and the gunplay is fantastic. And I maintain. I think my first appearance here on this podcast, I was asked about Tarkov, and I maintain it has industry leading audio design. It's the amount that audio is important to that game is unlike really cool. But now to the topic of the show, gentlemen, is the NVIDIA leak, the return of the king. We are going to revisit this because since it first leaked, there's been a lot of games that were on this list that people. So let's do a little recap here. This list gets leaked, and NVIDIA comes out, and surprisingly, they admit and they say that it is real. But then they try to sort of give themselves some breathing room by saying a lot of this stuff is speculative. It's just for our own internal testing or whatever they say. And there are some games on here that are really questionable. So a lot of people kind of believe that, and we weren't taking a lot of it at face value. However, I thought it'd be good to revisit this because there's a lot of things on here that at the time people were pointing to as evidence that this is just hypothetical, and those games have now actually been announced. So I wonder if we don't know the time frame, but I wonder, to me, I'm starting to think that everything on this list was at one point submitted by their respective developers or publishers. So I think this list is 100% genuine. It's just time frames or things being canceled is the only factors that we have to worry about. But we can discuss that amongst ourselves. So some of the ones that I wanted to bring up specifically to talk about that are really interesting. I'm getting ahead of myself. Before we get into that, some of the games that people used to say that this isn't genuine, that there's no way these games are coming out. One of them was actually Dragon's Dogma 2, which Capcom had not acknowledged since the first game came out in 2013.
Wow.
And that has recently, months and months after this list leaked, has been announced. I was hoping, Christian, maybe you know about this because you're a big Metal Gear Solid guy. I was trying to find the tweets, but there's been some murmurs about Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 HD. I think it was one of the developers that worked on those games made a comment, and then it started getting picked up that people were saying. Did you see that, Christian?
Nothing official, but I've seen, like, when it's that low, I'm never like, is this actually real? Because it's like, because a developer says it, like, maybe, projects get shuffled around all the time. Maybe they don't get finished or they get, like, canceled.
Right.
That's why I'm like, will that actually happen? I'm not sure, but I mean, it could be likely.
Right. So I didn't link that, but I could have sworn I saw on my feed sometime recently that one of the developers that worked on Metal Gear Solid 2 or 3 was responding to a fan and mentioned something about, like, oh, if you like those games, just wait, like something like that, where it's kind of like off the cuff, but it's like, oh, interesting. But that was one that people saw and they're like, oh, there's no way that's coming out. Crysis 4. There's one more that I wanted to take a look here. Oh, Chrono Cross Remaster out of nowhere. People thought that wasn't big enough. That wasn't on the priority list. That's been recently announced. That is real. So with all that being said, I wanted to take a look at some of the more out there ones that we also thought there's no chance of happening, and now we look at them and go, well, shit, is this possible? Are these things being sort of kept under wraps? So first, I'm going to list off all of them, and then we can talk about them as we want to, because some of them we might not have anything to say about. Halo 5 Guardians is the only Halo game that's not been ported to PC. Obviously, Dan and I will have more to say about that than everyone else here. The BioShock RTX remaster / BioShock 4, which is listed as BioShock 2022. Now, again, if this was submitted a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that could have been in their original target date. I don't think that because it doesn't come out means that it's not real. I think that's what we're starting to see with this list. Titanfall 3, which is, I think, probably the most interesting one on this list to talk about. Half-Life 2 Remastered, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 HD, which, like you were saying earlier in the show, people want those games more widely available, right? So I think that'd be a no-brainer to do. City Skylines 2. Dan, you played City Skylines, right? You're a big fan of that one? I love City Skylines. And then Moss on Steam, which currently is a PlayStation exclusive on PSVR. So that one specifically, because when so this is a great example. Moss on Steam, when this GeForce leak happened, PlayStation was just starting to put their toes in the water. I think they had Horizon and Days Gone on PC, and that was it. Because God of War was actually leaked from this list as well. So seeing Moss on here, now that we've seen that PlayStation is in fact committing to PC, like, I feel like Moss is totally possible to bring over to Steam VR.
The biggest thing for me about this that's really interesting is the fact that there's any kind of resources working on bringing a PSVR game to any other console. Seeing this come to, like, if it does come to Steam, would mean not only is it coming to PC, which is great. It's a PlayStation VR game, phenomenal that they're reporting over VR games as well. But it would also mean that maybe there's also resources being made by Sony to bring more PSVR games to PSVR 2, because as of right now, we don't know if they're backwards compatible or not. And if the Nvidia leak seems to be true, I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire, right? A lot of this stuff has been true. Maybe a lot of it is a little bit outdated and stuff has shifted, but it's still like we can base kind of decisions on it. That could mean like a lot of games are coming to PSVR 2 as well, and that's I did not know about that. That's pretty awesome.
I think you're onto something there too, because if they're bringing PSVR 1 games to PSVR 2 to sort of entice and sort of just bolster that library, right? This could, like you're saying, actually, this could indicate that the PSVR 2 is sort of more, it shares more DNA with PC VR kits, where it's like, if you can bring Moss to Steam, does that mean that you can bring Half-Life Alyx to PSVR, right? That does open up a huge can of worms. Now, something that I want to bring up when I'm talking about the timeline and why I think this list is 100% accurate at one point is that one of the things on here was the unnamed Hangar 13 game, which was a superhero game that got canceled. Now, that game got canceled months and months and months ago, so that's why I think this list, in whatever shape it was, it may be a list from 2019, 2018, something like that, right? So I want to throw it out there again. I really think this list is legitimate. Things may have changed from when this list was originally put into the database, not leaked, but put into the database, and now. But there's a couple of things on there that kind of lead to that. Dan, I want to talk to you about Halo 5 Guardians. It is kind of weird because if you're somebody who plays MCC and then jumps into Infinite, you are missing a critical piece of story. Obviously, it is the Halo game that's kind of like, when it comes to the campaign, the worst received. Halo fans are, typically pretty down on it. But still, if you're coming into Halo Infinite, it was always strange to me that if you're a PC guy who's never touched a console, you are missing a crucial piece of the story. So to me, it's kind of a no-brainer. I'm surprised they haven't done it yet, but what do you think? They've said no, but do you think that maybe they are kind of planning to bring it once Halo Infinite is maybe back on its feet?
Yeah, and it's interesting because Bungie did the same thing back in the day, because they were, well, not Bungie specifically because they didn't do the PC ports, but Halo CE and Halo 2 came to PC later on from Gearbox. They actually ported it to PC, but Halo 3 never came to PC. So it's like people were always like, how do I finish the fight? I can't finish the fight because it never came.
Right.
It's kind of, like that situation now, but obviously now Master Chief Collection brought Halo 3 to PC, but I do think it makes a lot of sense for them to do Halo 5 in Master Chief Collection. They could even do it as like a $5 thing like they did with ODST and Reach as well.
DLC add-on.
Yeah. Just do something like that and just do the campaign, or if you can't get the multiplayer to work, because I know that was one of the talking points from community managers from 343 talking about this, was it would be a bit of a undertaking to get Halo 5's content into Master Chief Collection, because A, Halo 5 was a 100 gig game itself, and B, the way that Halo 5 has all of its armor cores and everything, like the way you set up your Spartan in Halo 5 is very different than previous Halo games. So it might be a little bit of a challenge for them to do multiplayer. That's the only reason why I would doubt multiplayer would come ever, even though that's the best part of Halo 5, arguably. But the campaign, I could see it happening at some point, maybe. I don't know. Be interesting.
Or again, maybe this is one that they don't bring to MCC and they just bring it as a straight port, right? Because like you said, it conflicts so much with how the other games are set up.
Very true.
But yeah, it is a glaring omission in the franchise. You now have every Halo game there except for that. And while it's not the most beloved one, it is crucial, right? Like that's the interesting part. Christian?
Actually, no, never mind. If we're still in Halo 5, I want to keep it there.
No, we're moving on. Unless you have something to say.
Not about Halo, about a different game on here.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Start up.
I'm really curious if, from the NVIDIA leak, Titanfall 3 is now the game that has turned into the Apex Legends universe game.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. which we know Apex Legends universe is the Titanfall universe, so, and it is a single player, shooter based game. Yeah, I'm very curious.
I'm curious about that too. Now, here's my thing with Titanfall 3. I don't want to have false hope, and I definitely have. I'm making sure I'm not on that hopium. You know what I mean? But here's the thing: Vince Zampella did make a tweet like 2 years ago now, where somebody was saying like, "What about Titanfall 3?" And he was like, "Don't worry, we're gonna have something to show about the Titanfall, about the T word very soon."
Yeah,
Nothing ever came of that. I do wonder if now that Vince Zampella, he has a lot more. He's kind of like Neil Druckmann at Sony, but he's like the EA equivalent of now. He's worked his way up. He has the pull now. I wonder if he's saying like, listen, I'm doing Titanfall 3. We don't have to talk about it. We don't have to announce it. You don't have to do any marketing budget, but I'm doing it, and I'll release it when it's ready. I'm starting to wonder if this is if he's been working on this in the background, right? He has the pull now. He definitely has the pull.
What if this is still it? Like he's just like teasing it in a weird way.
Maybe. I feel like that'd be such a disrespectful thing to advertise it as something in the Apex Legends.
Right, yeah.
When Apex was announced, they said this is a battle royale in the Titanfall universe.
Yeah.
So it would be so disrespectful if they did that. But yeah, that totally could be what they're doing.
You know, I have two people that could have asked Vince Zampella in December that were literally a couple of feet away from him whether we were getting Titanfall, but it was the two worst people to be in that situation because we didn't say anything to anyone.
Are you referring to me and you?
Yes.
Hey, hold on. Was it not scary being amidst all those developers?
Yes.
It was so terrifying.
Yeah.
I feel like I did not belong where we were at.
We were in, and you're the one who pulled us there because you're like, man, all these developers come here after. I'm like, really? I had no idea. And we walk in and I'm just seeing all these people. We squeezed past Marty O'Donnell when we were on the way out. And Christian's like, who was that? Marty O'Donnell, the dude who wrote all of the Halo music, you know?
I would have went in there like a bulldog, but like, Vince, where's Titanfall, man? I wish I was there. I really wish I was there. I would have. No
it's
shame.
Like, Jeff, security?
Jeff,
yeah. I've got a disgruntled, small, 5'7" man yelling at me in the lobby.
Oh
Are we the same?
Are we the same? Short Kings rise up. Let's go.
Technically, I'm 5'8", but
no. Sure. Yeah. No, technically, I'm 5'8" too. Yeah.
I just went to the doctor. It said 5'8".
Yeah, me too. I get it. That's amazing.
The only one I stand
Short Kings rise up. Yeah. So Titanfall 3. I mean, what's the 5 check? I'm not gonna bet on it, but I think again, if Vince wanted to, if that was his passion project, which it seems like it was, I think that now over the past like year or so, he has the pull at EA to sort of say like, listen, you want me to keep giving you this golden goose? I want something in return. I want Titanfall back. I feel like it's possible. I feel like it's totally possible.
With how much money Apex prints, like, I'm surprised. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt if Vince played that card.
For sure.
Like, we will continue to do stuff for Apex. Let us have a passion project on the side that is funded by how much money we're printing with Apex Legends. Yeah, interesting.
And you know what? And I think the reason why I'm starting to think this is possible is not only the validity of this leak list, but also how nobody knew about Apex Legends. He was able to get that by without anyone knowing. We didn't know about this game until days before it came out. That is unheard of in this industry, right? So if anybody could do it, it might be Vince. He might be able to, right? And like you said, Rashan, this could be that. That would be so sweet. If that was a shadow drop, if Gamescom rolls around and he's like, by the way, this November, Titanfall 3. Could you imagine?
Wow.
Could you imagine?
I hope not.
Lose their shit.
Let Modern Warfare 2's like fucking Extraction.
Yes.
Let that have its moment, and then in the spring maybe when there's no other shooters.
Oh yeah, don't repeat what happened with Titanfall 2. Yeah, if say at Gamescom, like again, like I say, if Titanfall 2 had released in February, we would already have like Titanfall 4 by now. That franchise would be secure and locked. But they decided to put it in between.
It's losing it.
Yeah, that game would have killed, absolutely murdered. Half-Life 2 Remastered. This is really interesting. This one is almost one of those ones that, while people think is far out there, I think when it comes to Valve, this is the next thing I see them doing. They don't want to make new things because they're scared of the. It's not worth it to them, right? Valve is one of the richest companies in the world just from Steam. They don't need to risk 7th most?
No, give us.
Why are you holding down? Do one full hand and then the other amount of fingers. 3?
Give us
third
all
most.
the 3. Give us all the 3s. Left 4 Dead 3,
Oh,
Team Fortress 3.
yeah, that's not happening.
Half-Life 3,
Portal
3.
That's-
yeah.
That's not happening. It's
Give
definitely
us
not
a-
happening.
The orange.
I want them, but it's not going to happen. So Half-Life 2 remastered, I mean, that fits the Valve motto to me. They don't want to make new games, but they'll do a remaster. Like, to me, that makes sense. Maybe it's got updated physics and all that stuff. I don't know.
And it would sell like crazy, and I would buy it because I've never played Half-Life.
Right, exactly. So that's one of those things where I looked at this and people were saying that, like, no way. I'm like, that kind of makes a lot of sense to me. Like, if I was Valve and I didn't want to risk kind of losing the legacy of making perfect games, and you want to, like, Half-Life Alyx was amazing, but a lot of that was the tech behind it. Like, that was a tech showcase, right? Like, that was one of the most impressive VR experiences. But Half-Life 2 Remastered, like we say, like, everybody already loves that game, so you just put new physics into it, like, make, you know, the ragdoll physics are all new and all that stuff, and there you go. Like you said, Christian, people will buy it. I'll buy it. I never played Half-Life, but I'll buy into the hype for sure. And then we got City Skylines 2, which I feel like is a no-brainer. That game, the Cities franchise was kind of like just a sleeper hit until Skylines. Skylines was the one that really brought it to the main show, if you will, to the masses. And I fell in love with it. I love Skylines. And Dan, I know you played it a lot too. So City Skylines 2 to me is a no-brainer. Like, I feel like that's got to be on its way at some point.
Yeah, I was a bigger fan of Maxis's game SimCity instead of Skylines, but I enjoyed Skylines.
And then Christian, I'm gonna let you take the lead on this one. Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 HD it's on that list. It may not be true, but like we said, with every passing month, this list gets more and more validity. I mean,
Yeah,
is there any downside to them doing this, to Konami releasing?
there's
games?
absolutely no downside, and especially with Konami, one just announcing this morning or yesterday that they're relisting all the Metal Gear games that were available digitally back on those services. With them kind of supposedly working on games again. To what capacity, I don't know. Maybe at some point they had this in the works and they just kind of shelved it for a while, and they're gonna pick it back up. Maybe, yeah. There's no downside to this. We as gamers have, like, yeah, we said fuck Konami, but we have small. I would buy this. Just like I said what happened. I would buy this hands down. Honestly, I think this has more validity than any kind of remake that's been speculated and rumored about with like Bluepoint. This seems way more likely than that.
Right.
I love a remake of MGS1, absolutely. But this seems like this seems more realistic, even though the Reddit says no shot. I don't know if there's no shot. I feel like it's 50-50.
And like you said, because they've slowed down, they absolutely have. They slowed down in the game development department. But if they wanted to ease their way back into it, a remaster, half of the work is already done for you. You don't have to worry about story. You don't have to worry about voice acting. You don't have to worry about casting. All that stuff's done. You just have to sort of redo the assets and up-res the textures and all that stuff. So,
Well, wait a minute. Is the casting done yet? Is Kiefer Sutherland going to voice?
Let's not talk about this, Dan. Come on. I'm gonna be happy here.
well, on that note, that's the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, Dan. That was the show. It went long again because I'm hosting. I try to tell him not to make me host, and then Dan keeps offering it, and then I say yes because I don't want to be mean. So that's the show, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 147, The Lord of the Leaks, Return of the King. I'm just saying it again because I'm really proud of that name. Join us every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific? Is that what time it is? There it is. Pacific. We talk about all the juicy video game news. Remember, if you're at your local grocery store, tell the clerk, tell the teller, Dirty Daniel Prindle, you will get 10% off of any meat that you buy. Thanks again to Man Meat for our partnership. I have been your host, Gage Dempster. Dan, Rashan, Christian. That's the show. Say goodbye to the lovely people at home.
Don't search, man.
Search Man Meat and use Daniel's name at your local grocer.
Swipe right, baby.
Thank you, Kirk. Thank you, Glenn, for joining